And we're here, and we're live. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Afterschool Special Club podcast. I am your host, Chris, and today I'm joined by me. In case you couldn't tell by this strange setup, we are not in Kansas anymore. In fact, we're in my kitchen, which is super reverberous. So you guys won't know that when you listen, but I'm listening to it live, and I'm just like, this is going to be so much fun to cut, and all of the audio production when I have to do for this solo episode is going to be crazy. Hey guys, so yeah, as you can tell, I'm alone today. That's why I'm doing this in my humble abode. Usually we record at Mary's kitchen instead, but I just said in Mary's kitchen. We don't record in Mary's kitchen. We record adjacent to Mary's kitchen in her living room. But she is at an undisclosed location at this time. I actually signed an NDA, so I'm not allowed to disclose any information with you at this time. So it's just me. And I got a couple of things that I want to talk about today. I got a coffee. Feeling great. See, this is going to be the problem. I'm not so sure how good at this I'm going to be because so much of the experience of the Afterschool Special Club podcast is the energy of Mary and myself. So it's very strange. I'm also recording in QuickTime because there's only one microphone. It's only one camera. So I'm like, fuck it, we'll just do it real quick into QuickTime. So it's the video is taking up the entirety of my laptop screen, and it's very distracting because I keep trying to look at the camera, but instead I keep making eye contact with myself in the monitor. So it's very strange. And this means nothing to most of you because I think most of you guys listen to this on iTunes or Spotify, which are the streaming platforms you can listen to the Afterschool Special Club podcast on, as well as our YouTube channel. If you want to see our beautiful faces or just my beautiful face today. So I guess I'll start with a little bit of a channel update. So I just wanted to talk about the plan that Mary and I have so far, what we're doing, what's on the horizon. This project is still very new, and I have to remind myself of that a lot because it's only been like 3 months. I think this is episode 12. I think. This is either episode 11 or 12. It's very strange. I can never remember because like production schedule wise, like the episode that goes live on Saturdays is like the episode that we recorded last week. So it's like the episode that's going to go live this past Saturday. Like I'm already recording the next episode at that time while that is uploading. So it's very weird, but I think this is episode 12. And we're still very early on. You know, we're still figuring our things out. Mary and I do not do this as a job. This is simply a hobby. It's something that we kind of do on the side, which means we don't have, tons and tons and tons of time to dedicate to it. It's just sort of something we do for fun as a hobby. You know, we love getting together, talking about video games, talking about whatever, riffing. That's all we do when we're together. And so it's just something we do for fun. So it's challenging to start new projects and get new things going consistently. So that's what we're working towards. But right now, the podcast is sort of the main thing that we can do every week. You know, we're both very busy with our full-time jobs and don't necessarily have a lot of time or energy to put into other projects. But some of the things that we want to do include gameplay videos where we just kind of play video games, whether they be on the PS4, Steam, whatever, and just commentate. We were considering downloading Steam and doing just like a bunch of Steam games, reacting to them, playing through them, making fun of them. That's what we love to do. We love to poke fun at things, good and bad. So nobody is safe, basically. So we want to do some of that. We also have been working on a new segment called Field Trips, which was an idea that I came up with where we would go take our camcorder. We would actually leave the house, which is crazy, right? We would leave the house and we would go to places in San Francisco that we really like going to. We'd show them do our usual bullshit. Mary and I behave the same way in person as we do on camera. So it would just be that, but in public. So what's not to love, right? Us making a fool of ourselves in public. We shot a pilot for that, and I'm still cutting it. It's, again, just I don't have tons and tons of time or energy to really do much else besides cut the podcast. But I am working on it slowly but surely to try to see if I can make something of it. I'm taking notes, seeing what we can improve upon. I already have a bunch of notes for how we can do it different the next time. So Mary and I went to Stowe Lake in Golden Gate Park. We walked through the park. We kind of filmed our jaunts and our journey because it's not like in the middle. The middle is where like the bison and all of that is, but it's a little bit more in from the main part of the city. And so, we filmed us walking in, doing our usual bullshit. We went to the lake, walked around the lake. We walked up the top of the hill. We saw the waterfall, walked back down. My legs were screaming, and it was really, really fun. We saw so many ducks and so many geese. Like, oh my God. Like, and these ducks and geese were people. Like, they were people. They were behaving like people because that's what they're exposed to day in and day out. Like, these are not wild animals anymore. Like, these are people. It was just funny because we got so close, and like you guys will see if I ever cut this video and release something, you will see we were so close to them and they were so adorable. But yeah, they couldn't give a single fuck that there were people around. It was great. And it was like, we decided to do it because it was like a gorgeous day. Because here's the thing about San Francisco, if you're not familiar, the weather goes from like 0 to 100 like so fast. And what I mean by that is like it will be super foggy and cold and windy, and then it'll be sunny. Like it'll be sunny for like a second, and then it'll be super cold and super foggy again. And so we got that sweet spot in the later morning, early afternoon, where it was like super sunny, like super warm. It was beautiful outside. So we're like, we should go and do this today while we both are free and have time. And so we did that. Like I said, I'm still cutting the footage. I'm trying to see if I can make something coherent out of it, but I am taking a lot of notes. Seeing how I would do it different the next time. And yeah, it's really nice though. I think it's a cool idea, and I like showing off places that I enjoy going to in the city because there's so many of them, and it's not necessarily hidden gems, right? Like everybody knows about Golden Gate Park, and like, most people I think know about Stowe Lake and know that you can go and do like paddle boating and rowboating and all that kind of stuff. So that was super fun. So yeah, that's kind of what we're working on. Like I said, we're probably going to try to do more like gameplay videos because we want to do more than just like talk about video games. We actually want to like play video games on the channel and, shoot the shit about them while we're playing. We also shot like I keep calling them pilots. They're not really pilots, but like a pilot of doing that. We played a little bit of Life is Strange 2, which is such an easy game to make fun of because it's ridiculous. Like not in like a bad way. Like I don't want to make it seem like I'm making fun of the hard work of these devs because regardless of what I think about your game, I totally respect your work, and I think it's impressive no matter what, and it's very, very commendable and super cool. But I'm sorry, something about the dialogue, it's just so easy to make fun of. And so we did that, but we had some issues getting the file and all that kind of stuff. So we do want to do more stuff like that. I'm looking into getting like a capture card so that so that I can record directly from my webcam or my camcorder into Premiere, into the computer, and just make the whole editing process a little bit easier. But also so that we can, play video games. Like if we wanted to play on the PS5 or the PS4, we could hook up the video capture card and the microphones and just record like into OBS or something. So that is something we're still figuring out. Again, Mary and I are busy. This isn't our job, so it's just a hobby, and so we are dedicating as much time to it as we can, and we're working slowly towards that. So that's a little bit of a channel update. Before I talk about actual game stuff, I'll do a personal update as well. So I have exciting news. I mean, it's not really news because I'm still kind of on the fence about it. I don't know, but I wanted to talk about it because I'm kind of excited by the prospect. So I am thinking of going back to school. So for those of you who don't know, which is probably all of you, I did go through a bachelor's program and a master's program, and I don't use either of the things that I went to school for. But I am thinking of going back to school because in doing this project and also just consuming a lot of other like, media and like video games media, I have become increasingly interested in doing video editing and post-production. So, it's been, I don't know, it's been something that I've been thinking about for a very long time. This is definitely not like a spur of the moment thing. But I think starting this podcast and doing this with Mary has really deepened my interest because, I've watched a lot of like channels and listened to a lot of podcasts that do this kind of stuff. And, I'm so interested in the process, and it's something that I really enjoy, especially doing it as a hobby, like for this show, doing the editing, because I do all of the editing. So, and it's not that much, the podcast is not anything to edit. The hardest stuff is like the video of me guessing Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and then also the field trip that I mentioned. It's those kinds of things that are a little more challenging, but I really love that. And I've been having a lot of fun teaching myself how to use Premiere, how to edit audio, how to edit video, all that kind of stuff. And so it's something that I have decided that I think I want to pursue as a career. I'm kind of at a place in my current job. I'm very comfortable. I'm in a good position. I'm in very good standing, but I just am more and more feeling like it's not the right place for me anymore. I want to do something different. I want to do something actually aligned with my passion. And that's the biggest thing. I think it's important to consider the things that you want to do in life. And I know that sounds crazy, but I think a lot of times we get stuck doing things that either other people have dictated to us that we should do, or we get stuck in a position where we feel like we can only do this one thing, or you're really good at something and you have a good reputation at something. And so you feel like that's the place for you, but that isn't necessarily true. And that's kind of where I'm coming from because, in my current job, I have, a very good position. I'm in good standing. I have a good reputation. I'm very good at what I do. And, that's great, but it's not a job that is aligned with my passion. It's not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And like I said, increasingly more and more and more, it's just feeling more like a burden than anything. I don't really feel like I have a place there as much as I used to. And so I've been just really seriously considering doing other things, doing things that I am passionate about. And that's why I am thinking of going back to school in order to study post-production and editing. So living in San Francisco, I have the privilege of free tuition at CCSF, which is the City College of San Francisco. It's really wonderful. And I wish that this was something that was available in more places because it should be. And I'm not going to go into a tangent and a spiel about how inaccessible education is. So I'm just going to say that I feel very lucky that this exists. And I was looking at their programs, and they have a post-production and editing certificate program. I definitely don't want to go back to school to get any kind of degree. I don't want to have that kind of commitment, honestly. I have been to school enough. My stance on school and higher education has changed a lot since I got my 2 degrees. And so I have no interest in pursuing an actual associate's, bachelor's, or master's. It's not for me. But certificate program, I think, is great. It's like 18 credits or something. So you can get it done in like 3 semesters. And part of it that's really cool is there is an internship. So that's sort of the last part of the program, is there's an internship at the end, which is, I think, really great for experience, but also getting my foot in the door, and potentially being able to get a job straight out of the program. So it's not for certain, but it is something that I'm thinking about. And I don't know, just super excited. I had a good conversation with a coworker of mine who is doing a similar thing. She is leaving her position to go back to school and pursue something something different. And, you know, she said to me, she's like, I just want everyone to be happy. You know, like, you don't need to feel like you have to be here. You know, if you're not happy, go do something that makes you happy. Pretty much was how the conversation went. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, I was sort of on the fence before, but that really helped me, you know, make this decision. So I'm looking more into that. It is early, or actually, no, it's mid-July by now. So I don't know if they're actually still enrolling or if there's spots in this program. So I'm going to look into that, but it is something that I am interested in. So potentially the quality of this show could get even better. Hard to believe. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Some other things I wanted to talk about. Oh my God, PS5. So listen. 2 things. So, I, like most people, do not have a PS5. I have been trying adamantly to get a PS5. You know, I am following like all of the Twitter accounts, all of the this, all of the that. I get the push notifications. I still cannot get my hands on a fucking PlayStation 5. And Sony, I need answers. I just, oh my God, you guys, like, it's every time I get one of those notifications and I try to like follow the link, like, it doesn't matter if like I see it in the moment or if I see it like a minute or 2 later. It's like, even if I get that notification the second that they post it and I go to that link, I can't get a PS5. I've come so close though. Like, I have been able to do the Amazon trick where you like create a new list and then you do add to cart. I got it to my cart twice, but then when I went to check out, it was gone, which happens to a lot of people. So that happened. I was one of the people who, with the GameStop one, tried doing Apple Pay, and like that didn't work for me, but it worked for a bunch of other people. And I'm just like, I always look at the people commenting in these threads and I'm just like, screw you. Like, you know, people are like, oh, finally got my PS5. Or like, the people will be like, oh, the Apple Pay thing worked for me. And I'm like, why can't something just go my way for once? Like, I just want a PS5. I just want a PS5. And this, because the second thing is, I've been cat sitting for Mary while she's been gone on her mission. And she has a PlayStation 5. And so I've been playing her PS5 and I'm just like, I want it. I want this. But I can't have it. And I don't know what's going on. You know, I haven't done too much research into it, so I can't say with any certitude like what the reason is. Like, if it's literally just because it's in such high demand, or if it's something with manufacturing, that's my guess, is because of COVID and employment dropping and all that kind of stuff, especially with things coming from overseas, whether it be parts or whatever. I just think that it's really tough for the manufacturers of the PS5 to actually make enough for the demand. That's what I'm assuming. Again, I have not done any research, read any articles or anything. That's just my guess. It is very frustrating, and I just want my fucking PS5, okay? I just want a PS5. So if any listeners out there, because I know there's thousands of you, want to take one for the team and send me your PS5, I will gladly accept it. Thank you. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I had to rant about it because I've been trying for so long and I've been so patient and I've been so like, you know what, whatever. Like, I know it's in high demand. I know it's impossible. But like this morning when Walmart did their drop and like add to cart was there and I did it and it wouldn't go in my cart no matter what, I was just like, you know what? I'm pissed. So, you know, that's off my chest. We continue in console news though. As many of you have probably seen by now, Valve is releasing the Steam Deck, which for anybody who doesn't know is basically a handheld PC/console. It's a very interesting concept and I think it's really cool for a couple of reasons. So basically, yeah, it's like a handheld PC console device. It's a little bit bigger and chunkier than a Switch. I was looking at like the dimensions and the weight. It's heavier and it's a little bit more chunky than a Switch console. It looks like the battery life is kind of dismal. I think it said like 8 hours or something, which, to be fair, like, yes, is very short. But in my opinion, like, if you're using it as a PC or as a gaming console, like, are you really going to be playing for 8 hours straight? Like, because if you're streaming and yeah, you're doing it for a long time, you're going to be using a desktop. You know, you're not going to be using this handheld device. You know, you're not hooking it up and then hooking up a camera or anything like that. I don't even know if that would be possible with the specs of it, but it's about Switch sized, like double the weight. But what's really cool about it is you can actually change the operating system. So you can uninstall the Steam operating system and install Windows. You can install OS. You can play. It says that it's going to be capable of running like AAA games. So I think it's actually a really cool device. I think that it's really cool for people who maybe are not necessarily dedicated PC gamers. You know, if I didn't have a gaming laptop, you know, and I was kind of a casual to like serious gamer somewhere in that spectrum, and I didn't have a gaming laptop or I didn't have these consoles, I think it would actually be a great device because, you know, you're able to run these super massive games on it, you know, and if you're not going to use a computer for anything else, like, you might as well get one of these if the only thing you're using it for is gaming. You know, like, I have a laptop because, you know, I do this, right? You know, I use Photoshop, I use Premiere, I do photo editing, I record the podcast. I need a laptop in order to do all that stuff. So, but otherwise, you know, I'm not in school anymore. So if I weren't doing this kind of stuff and I'm not in school, I would probably get this device, maybe. I do like having, you know, the big screen and a keyboard and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's great if, like I said, all you want to do is just play games, you know, Steam games, and download games from Steam and be able to play them, you know, and you don't need to buy a laptop, especially because gaming laptops are very expensive. If you're getting a laptop with the specs necessary to actually run video games smoothly, they can be over $1,000 easily. And I believe the most expensive of this model is around $700. It's based on the graphics card, I believe, and the actual storage of it. So the cheapest one is only 64 gigabytes of storage, which, like, if you're playing games on it, I don't know why anybody would buy that size. I think it's kind of a cop-out, you know, because you don't, like, if you're going to play a AAA game, for example, a AAA game itself is going to be like 60 gigabytes of space. So I don't know why anyone would buy that. Although they did say that you could extend the storage space of it with an SD card. So that's cool. I don't really see the reason, though, to have such small storage. The 64 one, it's the cheapest, but you also can put like one game on it. But the models with more storage also have a better graphics card. And so those are I would choose out of those two. I think it's 256 gigs of storage and then 512 gigs of storage from what I remember seeing. So that's around like $500. And then I think like $649, $700. I apologize. I do not have the information right in front of me. I'm just talking from memory. But yeah, I do think it's a very interesting concept. Definitely something we haven't seen before. So I think that's very cool, that it's not just, you know, another iteration of the Switch, right? It's not a Switch. You know, it is a full operating system, you know, that you can change. You know, if you want Windows or you want OS, you can change it, like I said. And I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll be interested to actually see more like demo footage of people using it. I want to actually see people like holding it and playing games on it, what that looks like. I do feel like, and I saw somebody else talking about this when I was kind of watching videos about it. The dimensions are, like I said, a little bit bigger than a Switch. And it's heftier than a Switch. Like I said, it's about twice the weight, I think. So I'm curious to see for handheld gaming how that works. It does have a dock, so you can dock it like a Switch. But I would be very curious to see the comfortability of actually holding it, because it seems like it's a little more cumbersome because it's just chunkier. So I would be curious how that would feel on like your hands and your wrist when actually using it for prolonged periods of time. But I guess all of that will kind of remain to be seen. So Yeah, very, very interesting. I'm excited to see more about it. It comes out, I believe, in December at the end of the year. You do have to like reserve one. I don't think they're using pre-order terminology. I think you actually have to reserve one in order to gain access to it to purchase one. And I think they're doing that as a way to sort of prevent, scalping and stuff like that to some degree. But yeah, so come the end of the year, we will see. I'll definitely be trying to watch more like tech demos of people getting their hands on it early, which I think already exist. I just haven't seen any. I think IGN might have one. From what I remember, somebody got to actually go and play one. You don't get to see them. They're just doing a post review of it. But I will be interested to see more and to see actual like consumer reviews of it, to see how it actually operates and runs and how it feels, because it is a very interesting concept. And I would like to know more. I think that's pretty much everything that I have. Yeah, I can't really think of much else. This is just a really short and sweet. This is almost like a report. Like I'm just talking, about these things. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to listen to other full-length episodes with me and Mary, you can do that. You can do Afterschool Special Club Podcast. We are on Spotify and on iTunes. You can also watch us on YouTube, which I recommend because I think our videos are great. And you can also follow me on social media. Mary does not have any socials, unfortunately, so you're stuck with me. So if you're interested, King Tortellini on Instagram and Prince Tort like the dessert, Torte on Instagram, or on Twitter. And that's that. Sorry, this is a little strange. I have never done a solo talk to the camera session before, but yeah, Mary will be back for you guys in 2 weeks. She is back next week for myself, but she will not be here on the day that we normally record. So I'm going to record another solo episode in my kitchen, just like this. And hopefully I will have more stuff to talk about next week. We'll see. Until then, thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye.